What's up, everybody? It's your boy Ambitious Angelo, and I'm out here today in Los Angeles. And we're starting a brand new series for you guys out here called Started from the Bottom. Okay? Every day I get to meet some incredible people out here in LA, and everyone has a story. Now, everybody starts at the top. The man at the top of the mountain don't just start there, okay? Everyone has a story. Everyone has a journey. And today I get to sit down with and talk with Kris D. Lofton.
What's up, brother?
How you doing,
I'm
sir?
I'm good, bro. How you been?
I'm good, man. You
my
know
God.
what I'm saying? It's been it's incredible, man. I got to work Def Jam party, actually. Got shout out to the Puma sponsors from that event.
Yeah, that was up.
And I got to meet Kris there, and we got to talking and networking. Found out I was a famous Dex's cameraman, and he's actually from the Chi. So
Yeah.
then he invited me to his birthday party where I did a video for,
Yep.
which was lit.
Crazy, right? Lit. He killed it on the video. Yeah.
You know, so, and then I asked him to be a guest today to kick off this series called Started from the Bottom.
And I appreciate it.
Thank you, man. I really appreciate your time, your energy, man, because at the end of the day, man, there was a lot of famous people there, and you were very open and approachable.
Mm-hmm.
So, and it just told me that there was something different about you, you know? You, like I said, you were humble, you were open, and a lot of people there were not as much.
Right. No, I feel you, and I appreciate that. That actually means a lot to somebody like me, because I just always say, like, I don't take myself or what I do too serious at all. Like, I never did. I don't know if it's because of how I was raised or where I'm from or nothing like that. It's just a job. It just so happens that my job may look a lot more fun than other people's, or may have a little bit more face time than other people's job. But at the end of the day, my job is my job, you know?
Let's talk about your job. You're on the show Ballers on HBO.
Yes, sir.
You were on, you as a little kid, you were on Hardball.
Yeah.
Keanu Reeves.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
I just seen you post that throwback picture. Everybody's posting like the old man pic. Kris posted the young man pic, and then he did the old man pic.
Yeah.
How did you get into acting?
Oh, man. Actually, I didn't really get into it. It was kind of something that just landed in my lap, if you will, or like in my life. I remember hearing something on the radio when I was a kid, and the radio was like, "Yo, there's some people in town looking for some young black boys that know how to play baseball." And I was like, "Oh shit, Mom, I'm young, I'm black, and I know how to play baseball. So take me where the radio said." And she's like, "All right." I get there, and I'm thinking it's like a traveling baseball team or like some form of a baseball team, but it must be a hell of a team if they're talking about it on the radio. It must be the best team that Chicago can offer. So I'm like, yo, I want to go. I get there, and it's the exact opposite. There's no baseball field. There's no nothing. There's no nothing like that at all. It was in an abandoned mall in Chicago at the Evergreen Plaza Mall, in like this abandoned Foot Locker. World Foot Locker. That's how you know how long ago it was, when World Foot Locker was still a thing. So we get there, and there's like 600-700 kids there, and they're like, "Yo, this is an audition for a movie." I'm like, "Oh yeah, no, I don't want to do that."
Wrong place.
Yeah, I don't want to do that. My mom's just like, "Nah, I drove you this far away from home." It was like outside. I lived in the suburbs, so she had drove me like 30-40 minutes away, and she's like, "Nah, I drove you this far. You better at least go see what they want. You never know." I get there, and they're just like, "Hey, read this. But when you read it, try to act like you're not reading it. Act like, you know, you're on the baseball field, you're with your friends, and you're talking to one of your friends." Okay. And I was looking at the paper, and I'm reading it. Okay, great, we'll be in touch. Months go by. 3 months go by. Then they just randomly call one day. "Hey, this is such and such with Paramount Pictures. We're looking for the parents of Christopher Lofton. We're going to use him in the movie now. We're gonna get in contact with the schools. Do you think his school will be on board? We're going to need his teachers to be a part of this as well. They're going to have to, give him his homework, and we're going to have him about 3 months. He'll have a tutor. Don't you worry, man. We're going to need you to come down and sign some contracts. We're going to start filming this." I'm what? What just happened?
How old were you?
I was like 11, 10, 11, something like that. Crazy.
Wow.
Crazy. I didn't know what was going on. I didn't know nothing about acting. I wasn't an actor. Nobody in my family ever been an actor. I had no ties to the entertainment industry at all. Like, just a kid from the west side of Chicago, and I just lucked up, never acted a day in my life, and ended up in a movie.
Okay. So that could have been like your 15 seconds to fame. You know, we could have never heard about you ever again.
Yeah, definitely.
So that was at 11.
Mm-hmm.
Walk me through what happened from 11 to 18.
Whew. Huh. How much time you got on that camera? Okay. Let's say 11 through 18, I'll skip some years because it was kind of vague through the middle, but let's just say high school. Okay, so high school, I'm still acting, just doing, because after Hardball, they gave us all of the kids who were like the leads in that movie, they just gave us all to this one agency. So they gifted us to them, like, hey, these are young kids, they're new, never acted before, but they're in a movie, here you go, you can be their agent, send them on auditions. So they continued to send me on auditions, and I booked little stuff here and there, commercial or print ad or something like that. But then, you know, like around high school, I remember there was this movie, Gridiron Gang. You remember Gridiron Gang? Okay. Yeah, I had
Johnson.
Yeah. So ironically enough, I was originally casted for the role of Willie Weathers on Gridiron Gang to play the running back.
Yep.
My boy Jade Yorker, shout out to Jade, he actually ended up getting it, but what happened with that is they flew me to LA. I was about 17. They flew me to LA. I was in football camps and everything. I was doing all the training. I was rehearsing with The Rock up in the jail, the detention center that we were using, and I was doing all of that. They had the condo ready for me to live in for months, everything. It came down to contract signing time, and my mom wouldn't sign it. They wanted me to drop out of high school and take the GED test so they could work me like an adult, and I wouldn't have to be in school getting tutored for 4 to 5 hours a day while they're trying to film. Because they're like, hey, you're one of the main characters, so if you're in school for 4 or 5 hours a day, what am I supposed to do with all these crew members just standing around who can't do anything because Kris is in school? Nah, take the test, you pass, the role is yours, we'll pay you this. My mom wouldn't sign it. They kindly put my ass on a flight back to Chicago, like literally within hours. And I was like, didn't talk to my mom.
You was mad?
Was I mad? Hell yeah, I was mad. Like, what? I was pissed, bro. I remember that like it was yesterday. But she always said, no, my baby's you gonna get your diploma. My baby you wanna walk the stage, you wanna play your last year of sports and this and this and that. Trust me, you'll work with him again, you'll work with The Rock again, you're gonna be acting all your life, baby. My mom said that shit. I wasn't trying to hear none of that shit though. I wasn't trying to hear none of that, bro. But like, sure enough, it ended up happening. But so that happened, and then after that Gridiron Gang situation happened, my mom walks in the house one day and decides, hey, I'm moving to Georgia. I just put the house on the market. I just quit my job, cashed in my 401k. We're moving to Georgia in a month. Excuse me? Wait a minute, what?
How old are you at this point?
17.
17 still, okay.
What? No way. And it's my senior year of high school.
Oh, man.
I'm like, you want me to move from Chicago to the country of Georgia, not Atlanta, to Georgia? No way. I said, no, I'm not doing it. So I stay. And my whole family leaves. My mom, sister, dad, they leave, move to Georgia. I stay in Chicago, finish my senior year. I emancipated myself. So not on no Gary Coleman, fuck you, mom. No, none of that. It was like they agreed because after the fact that my mom wouldn't sign that contract and I knew that they were about to be gone in Georgia and I was still acting, I said, well, if another opportunity presents itself where I book a role, I don't want to miss out on it because my parents aren't here to sign the contract. So I just need to be able to sign my own contracts as my own legal guardian if that opportunity presents itself. I'll be 18 in a few months anyway. So let's just do that just in case. So they agreed to do it and we did it. And that's how that happened. And then finished out high school, finished all of that. And then I moved down to Georgia for a little while. Hated it.
Hated Georgia?
Hated Georgia. I stayed there for about a year. Left there. Went to Mississippi of all places. Moved to Mississippi for about a year and a half and met some of the dopest people that I've ever met and like that are still my friends today. Like I met them in Mississippi. And I say this too. I've been living in LA, Chicago, and I feel like I've met more people on a personal level like this, like how we're just sitting like this. I've met more people on a personal level living in Mississippi. Like, which is crazy because at the end of the day, when you think about it, it's like, okay, yeah, Mississippi, we kind of just write it off like, ugh, who wants to go there? And that's true, I get it. But at the same time, a lot of these artists, rappers and singers and actors or whatever, athletes, they all somehow end up down there. And if you know anybody down there, if one of those important people make it down there, you're going to be right with them. So that's kind of how it worked. So that's how I was able to be around like OVO and Drake and all of them before it really became like this, because Drake's manager, Lil Wayne's manager, they all went to Jackson State. His manager and my manager are first cousins, and his DJ went to Jackson State. Lil Wayne's tour DJ went to Jackson State. Shout out to T. Lewis. Like all of these people, it's all Mississippi ties. And that's how I know all of these OVO people and all the Young Money people and the Cortez Bryants and the CJ Gibsons, all from Mississippi. And like you'd never believe that, but like I needed that time. I had a real early midlife crisis.
At what age?
Like 22.
Okay. Like
22, an early midlife crisis, and I just started to feel like I didn't know how to do anything but act. I didn't because I didn't go to college. I stopped playing sports, and I was like, yo, I kind of got scared, and there was like a couple years where I didn't book anything, and life happened. Yeah. You know what I'm saying?
Like your career was over. Like you're like, it's behind me.
I never thought it was behind me. Yeah, well, kinda, but I never thought it was over and it was behind me. I just started to get scared because it had been so long since I had done it, and one of my biggest fears was, especially coming from Chicago, I didn't want to be the guy who was like 30, 35, still having hoop dreams, if you will. Like I didn't want to be the guy who was like a kid actor and then at 30 still talking about this movie I did when I was 10. And I was scared of being that guy, so I tried to create something else in case that were to be the situation. So I was like, okay, I need to learn something else that's got nothing to do with acting, so in case all of this shit falls through, at least I know how to do something, have a trade, have a skill, learn something else. So that's what I did, and I went to Mississippi and learned everything I could about the marketing and printing industry, and did that for like a year and a half, crash course every day for a year and a half. Learned everything I could about marketing and printing. That's how I know little things about like different card stocks and just random stuff. Got good broker rates on printing to this day. You know what I'm saying? Like it's crazy. So that's kind of how that went, man. And then I tried for a minute. I tried to come to LA when I was younger. I came when I was like maybe 20, 21.
Okay, to visit?
No, I came. I thought I was gonna try to live here then.
Okay.
Only lasted 10 months. I couldn't.
10 months? Yeah,
I did 10 months out here before I just couldn't, like, it was just too much.
So who did you know when you moved out here?
No, actually, nobody. I came out here with a friend of mine. He's an actor too. His name's Nathan Corbett. He was on The Wire, season 4 of The Wire. I don't know if you watched The Wire, but yeah, he was on that season when it was all the kids.
They only got to like season 2.
Okay, he was on season 4. But yeah, my boy, I came out here with him. He was from Baltimore, and I was from Chicago, and we were like, yo, let's just go to LA together. Mm-hmm. And at that time, my mom had worked at like hotels, so we got like employee discounts at the hotel. So I was like paying the weekly rate to stay at a hotel.
So you was living out of a hotel?
Yeah, I was living out of a hotel for a few months with my boy Nate. And then I ended up moving in with this girl for a while. I moved in with her for like 5-6 months. And then I was just like, yeah, I can't keep doing this. I was in Glendale. I was like, I can't keep doing this, trying to stay here. And I didn't have an agent. I didn't have, like, I was just there. And I was like, you know what? I'm not going to keep living with this girl. I'm not going back to try to pay $300-400 a week to stay at this hotel. And I didn't have a job. I'm just going home. And I left. I couldn't take it.
Okay, so you were going to audition still, though?
No, I didn't have an agent out here, so I wasn't even doing any of that. I was really just trying to, like, meet as many people as I can and just, like, be here and see what could happen. I was looking for an agent because I had a Chicago agent, and I was trying to see if maybe they could reach out to some of their L.A. contacts and at least find someone who'd take a meeting with me. Mm-hmm. But, like, nothing was really shaking in those 10 months. And I was just like, man, let me get the hell out of here and at least go back to Chicago, go to Atlanta or something and just build my resume back up before I come back out here. And then I'll try again later one day.
Okay, so this is 22?
Yeah, like 21, 22-ish.
Okay. So you're in LA. Things aren't really working out.
Mm-hmm.
You're scared of what's going to happen, you know, especially as... I remember being 22 and looking around and seeing like all my friends are graduating college or getting married, or having kids,
Yes.
you know, and all that, and being like, oh, what am I doing?
Bro, legit. Like Facebook will depress the shit out of you if you're not doing nothing too. Like, oh man, I used to sit and look at this like, damn.
Yeah.
All the people I went to high school with, they're driving in their own cars and they're going to their own apartments and they got married or they had a baby or they got a great job or they got this, and I'm just sitting there like, yep, don't have a car, don't have a job, don't have anywhere to live. I live with people. I don't have my own place. I don't have that. Didn't go to college, don't have a degree, don't have and I'm just like, whoa, what have I been doing since high school? And like literally all of those exact emotions, like, damn, what am I doing wrong? But I had to I don't know if I can't tell if it's a fine line between being delusional.
Yes.
or just being so positive. Yeah. I think there's a very fine line between positivity and being delusional.
Yeah. You gotta be a little crazy.
I always say, in order to make it in this business, you either gotta be crazy driven or driven crazy, and I'm both.
Love that.
Like literally. So that's kind of what it was. So I used to sit there and tell myself, like, convince myself to not feel as much like a piece of shit. Yeah. That, oh, it's okay that, yeah, all my friends got a car. It's cool, I don't have a car, but when I finally do get a car, I'll be able to get the car I want. Yeah. Like, that's what I would tell myself, so I feel better about walking. Yeah. Or I feel better about riding the bus and the train. I'm like, I feel better. It's like, no, take your ride in your Ford Fusion. That's fine. Yeah. You know?
I'm pulling up in a Wraith for my birthday.
One day I'm gonna pull up, and when I actually do have a car, it'll be a real car. It ain't gonna be, it's cool. Y'all have y'all moment now, it's okay. Yeah. It's cool. When I get a house, I'm gonna live downtown LA. That's what I used to say. So I'm gonna have a doorman. I'm like, it's okay, I don't have an apartment in Chicago. It's cool. I'm gonna get a doorman when I get a house. I'm not, and that's, like I said, delusional or crazy or just positive manifestation. I don't know. Yeah. Fine line. But that's definitely what I would do and how I would think. That was my thought process through it all.
Okay, so you're worried, you're out here, things aren't working out as you thought, you know, it could happen. So you take a step back. So you move. Where do you move from here?
When I left here, I went back to Atlanta and went to my parents' house.
Okay.
Went back
So in the country?
In the country.
Okay.
Yeah, and I was there for a few years, like maybe 2-3 years, and that was literally nothing. I did no real acting. I ended up booking an episode of Single Ladies on VH1. I booked.
As a what? As a single lady?
No. You don't remember that TV show, Single Ladies?
No.
You don't remember that TV show with
what year was this?
Oh God, what year was it? I have to pull up my IMDb. I don't even know. You don't remember with Lisa Ray and Stacey Dash, the show on VH1?
The last thing I watched on VH1, I think it was with Flavor Flav.
Okay, yeah, nah. There was this TV show called Single Ladies. It was like a scripted with DB Woodside and Lisa Ray and Stacey Dash and all of that. Okay. I did an episode of that. Then I did like a couple episodes of The Game. You remember The Game when it was on BET? Yeah, I did a couple episodes of that. I did a KFC commercial. It was a national. Just little stuff like here and there.
Out of Atlanta?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, Atlanta has a good scene.
Yeah, Atlanta had a good scene too, but my only thing with Atlanta was I felt like they weren't casting the big roles out of Atlanta. Or the bigger roles, if you will. Like, I didn't expect to be like the star of the show, the star of the movie, but I wanted more lines than what the auditions I was getting in Atlanta. And I was like, okay, I moved here because everybody said the work is coming to Atlanta. So I went to Atlanta, and then I get there and I'm like, whoa, it seems like they still just flying out people from New York, Chicago, and LA to live in Atlanta while they film in Atlanta, and then just give the local Atlanta people the leftover scraps. I was like, nah. I was like, that's not what I want to do. I'm like, I want to be a star. I was like, I don't want that. I'm like, this is cool. I'm gonna stay here though, build the resume up, so at least when I go back to LA eventually, they won't laugh at me, because it's like, at least look at all I've done before I came to LA. I'm not just some guy who came out here with no agent and a dream and like, I want to be an actor. Like, nah. It's like, okay, this is somebody who has worked and shows that he can work and do it consistently. He gets picked consistently, so it's like, okay, maybe now they'll take me a little bit more serious. So I was like, all right, I'm gonna stick it out, do that, and stayed in Atlanta for a couple years. And then, like I said, I got tired of those small audition roles. I went back to Chicago.
Okay. So, about 22, you moved back to Atlanta. How long did you live in Atlanta?
For about 3 years, 3 years.
So that's like 22 to 25.
Yeah, then I went back to Chicago.
Then you go back to Chicago.
Yeah. Back to Chicago for like maybe 4 more years.
Wow.
Yeah, and I stayed there, and then that's when I ended up booking Empire, did Chicago PD, Chicago Fire, all of that stuff. Meet the Browns movie. Well, I did Meet the Browns movie when I was like 18.
Okay.
Yeah, I did that Meet the Browns movie. Yeah, and then I just kept building a resume with little one-off guest stars and stuff like that in Chicago. Stayed there for a while. Ended up getting into a little trouble